Okay, so we're going to introduce Tinkercad here. This is a good 3D modeling program that works on the Chromebooks really well. I'm going to start with creating a new design. So I'm at tinkercad.com. I've signed in with my Google account. Click here, Create New Design. The starter design we're going to make today is just a simple name tag that will have like a hook on it for them to be able to use. So this is a way to introduce working in three-dimensional shapes. First thing here is my work plane. If you notice here in the upper left, I can rotate and move this around. Now, I've found with students this works best if they have a physical mouse. You can do it, of course, with a touchpad or the touch screen, but it works generally best with a mouse if that's available. So we're just going to grab a box over on the right side. We have some basic shapes. I'm going to grab this box and slide it over here. You'll see here I can resize it. And this starts getting them in the mindset here of the three-dimensional, the X, Y, and Z axis. And we talk with our students about that and how to think in terms of print time. Because if you are going to 3D print this when you're all done and not just make a two-dimensional or a three-dimensional model out of it, you may want to be able to physically print it. So you want to think in terms of how big is this thing physically going to be. So if I make it this big versus, quite a bit smaller. This one will make it about 20 centimeters wide, and we'll make it a little bit narrower here. We want our print time to be pretty small. Depending on what you have for printers, this will help with that. Now I'm going to add my hook to it. Now, if I want to change the color, and this is mostly to kind of determine between different shapes, I can click up here on the right. Let's give you more details. We'll make this a really nice yellow here. And then, of course, I can change different widths and lengths if I need to this way as well. If I want to do it, type in the number directly. Let's put that back to where it was. All right, so now I'm going to click down here and scroll down a little bit. On the right side, you'll notice here a bunch of different shapes. You can grab all these. We're going to use the ring. So I'm going to grab the ring over here, drag it over. Let's make my bookmark shape a little bit narrower. I'm going to drag the ring right into the end. Now, this is where we want to overlap. You can see how these things it's worthwhile to have the different colors. I can zoom in a little bit. We'll turn here. We'll see those things are touching. Again, depending on the thickness of this, will determine how long the print time is. So if you are making a bookmark versus making a name tag, you may want to make it a little bit thinner. So that looks about right there. And now I can move this around and you'll see that these are connected. And that will all do one print. Now, one final step here. On the right up at the top here under basic shapes, we're going to jump to our text and numbers. And so I can slide over individual letters, but also at the top here, there's an entire text box. So I can grab this text box, drag it over. Again, we'll resize this to match up to fit right about in there. It is a little bit thick, so I might make it a little bit thinner. Again, I'm thinking in terms of print time or material, right about like that. That looks good. But now if I flip this back over, we'll double click over on the right here and I can rename this to a student's name. So that way they can customize it to their own. And this is just a really introductory version of this. But this file now I'm able to export that. Typically I would use an STL, which would be a 3D printing file. But everything I save here is also saved directly in my gallery as well. So if I go back to my gallery, I'll be able to see all the different files and be able to use them. So that's kind of an introductory lesson to Tinkercad.